going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven. This is Steven in Stereo, and in today's video, we are going to finally be checking out Waterparks' album, Greatest Hits. This is a band that I've checked out here on YouTube every single time I've had a chance to listen to their stuff. I've been fucking stoked, so it only makes sense that I finally do this long overdue video. I'm really looking forward to actually hearing a full collection, so I'm going to treat this, even though there's a handful of songs on here that I've heard, I'm going to treat it like this is the first time listen, just so that I can get the full kind of like, if there's a narrative or something going on in this album, I get all of it, okay? Before we get into today's video, I just want to plug my Patreon. I don't do sponsorships. I don't do ads. You're never going to hear me try to pitch you on, here, sign up to this website. They teach you how to build your first website. Or, of course, hey, check out this deodorant or this protein bar that I've never actually eaten before. Like, whatever. I don't do any of that stuff. So I am very fortunate to have my Patreon subscribers literally support this channel. So if you would like to support, I do full uncut album reactions / listening parties over there. So for example, for this video, it'll be a lot shorter on YouTube. However, the Patreon version will be uncut. I don't take anything out of it. I press record. And then when I finally stop recording, I upload that over to Patreon. That seems to be what people really enjoy. There's like over 70 album reactions over there. So definitely check that out if you're interested. It means a lot to me. It allows me to not have to give up my values just to sell you, I don't know, whatever it is that these people sell you these days. But all those things out of the way, I'm really looking forward to this album. I love how they've kind of created their own sound within pop punk. I think that's fucking dope. I'm also a huge fan of Austin's vocals. I think that because of the tone he sings in, he's got to be one of my favorite vocalists. So you can imagine how excited I am for a full album. Yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm very active on social media. But all those things out of the way, all that self-promo, shut the fuck up, Steven. This is Greatest Hits. What the fuck? What? Oh, fuck. Okay, this is kind of sick though. Controlled chaos. All right, I'm letting it go into fuzzy. Go into fuzzy.
Your greatest hits.
What the fuck is happening? Hey! I think what I love so much is that it's pop punk infused with like almost like Austin brings R&B elements sometimes. I know I'm not the only one who hears that. What the fuck? Oh my god, what the fuck? This instrumental is so sick. Oh my god, yes. So, like, you know, we're 2 tracks. Well, the first one is intro, but this is the second track on the album. I think you're already starting to see why I love this band if you've never listened to them before, or if you're wondering like, oh man, I love this band. I wonder what Steven thinks. Like, you can hear it, right? You can hear why I love this band. Like, Austin's vocals are one thing, and I'll put those on a pedestal forever. I feel like that is something that I will praise time and time again, no matter what. It's just how high he sings just gets me so fucking stoked. But listen to the instrumentation in this. Like, you hear this R&B sort of infused pop punk kind of happening. We've got this slow build up, just like honestly vibing throughout the verse. And that chorus drops and it's like, where the fuck did that come from, right? Like heavy distortion, almost it's like more like metal-esque riff kind of happening. And all of it seems to flow together so well with almost like a synthesizer with distortion on it. Like, you wouldn't think that all of these sounds would work so well in this, yet they managed to pull it off in a way that is just so Waterparks. And this is only the second track. Oh my god. Ah! Those of you who know my obsession with like MySpace, like electronic and synth pop, know why I love this so much right now. Oh! Underrated band. Underrated band. Underrated band. What other bands are doing this? Honestly, like I talk about experimentation all the time on my channel, and I love to see bands grow and evolve and try out new things, but who's doing this much? And like all of it being channeled into one track. Like that's the first actual song on this album. Like, explain. What the fuck? Like, this is why I think this band has such a cult following, because like it's not just that, you know, Austin is just like, hell yeah, dude. But like also there's just so much, and like the little intricacies, like even that last fade out, you got Austin going in, but they're starting to like replay and like sample some of his vocals from the earlier pieces of the song, and like the way that fuses together with the synthesizer, it's got a great amount of distortion. The guitar riffs are incredible. Like, what the fuck? Okay, I know this next song. We're listening to it. Low key as hell.
Shirts are like cool rings. I want a big house, but I'm hiding. I think I'm halfway there, but my heart feels off. So what's the point of being great alone?
So one thing I loved about the lyrics in this the first time I listened to it was that, you know, this is a real thing. Like there's a struggle as you continue to get fame or continue to get success. I know I personally went through this as well, where like you go from like not like you're working really hard, you're doing all these things, but there's like you have no money and like all this stuff, and like suddenly you get a following and like it gets picked up and like people start to get into that, and then like you have to have this sort of decision within yourself, like, is it okay for me to like enjoy these things? Why do I have to feel bad for these things that I've accomplished? I just love it because I think it's especially like within their genre, I feel like it's a topic that you don't often hear people talk about. Like you don't often hear people talk about sort of that struggle as you start to gain fame and momentum, and what that feels like in your like personality as you're kind of like trying to direct yourself through that.
I like cool shirts, I like cold rings. I want a big house, but I'm hiding. I want a brain that doesn't hate me. I want to see my stupid fucking friends say my issue.
Okay, you know I love that part, so like I have to take it back. But like, think about that. You know, it's so easy to be like, oh, first world problems, but you have to remember that like oftentimes a lot of these artists, they're not coming from like, you know, wealthy beginnings. They come from, you know, kind of humble beginnings. Like they didn't really have all of that. And like, I feel like there's certain genres that you get into where you don't expect to ever find financial success or financial stability. And like, it's such a weird place to get to, especially growing up around punk. I mean, even just like for myself, like I never imagined to live like the life that I do now. I kind of like, you know, 10 years ago, I remember sitting in an apartment like that I was a roommate with two other people, and it was like in like the worst part of Vegas. And I just remember sitting there being like, yeah, we should just have bands come through and stay with us. And like, you know, we'll just do that and that'll be our entire life. And like, that would have been really fun. But like, I really thought that was all that was going to happen. And like, I had just accepted that. So things start happening in your life that kind of like take you out of that. It's a really hard transition. And like, you do kind of feel this constant pull of like, am I allowed to do these things? Or like, is it okay that I do this? Or what are people going to think if I do this? Because maybe I have all these things and maybe, you know, things are really great for me, but like now I have to sit in this, you know, house that maybe I couldn't afford last year. And I have to like live with myself and like my mental health and like all these other things that are happening. There's just so much, but it's really hard to, you know, as Austin says, it's kind of hard to complain about those things because not everybody like understands. Oh yeah, I'm all for that track. I love the lyrics in it. I love the sounds because you really do get to see Austin sort of like live in that pocket of R&B mixed with like little bit of hip hop cadence. I like to think of it as like pop punk R&B, right? Because like he's kind of like giving those moments, but then of course the chorus hits and we're right back into the attitude. So overall, like I'm glad that this band becomes so relatable, especially whenever you have lyricism like this. It really does help just like create a very personal experience. Okay, the next track is Numb. I feel like I've heard this song, but I'm not sure. Like I said, there was like a moment where we were doing like a lot of like single pieces of these songs, and so like I don't know all of them that we already listened to, so this is Numb.
Be your black hole and your favorite constellation.
Oh!
Sometimes be depressed to death and living on vacation. I'll divide my time between me, myself, and I, and all my expectations. Cause my conversation. You only like me when I'm numb.
Woo!
No matter how, I don't know what. All I know is that this isn't fun. The more I wrap myself up, the more I'm coming undone.
Like chaotic energy, right? But like so controlled by them. I mean, there were so many different elements that just happened within what, a minute and 6 seconds. I heard like 12 different genres. I heard various vocal approaches from them. Like just from a musical standpoint, there's so much to take in from this band. And I feel like that more people just need to hear it. That's it. I mean, they're popular, so don't get me wrong. It's not like they're not popular, but like, I just feel like I would hear more people talking about bands like this if they'd be willing to like take 2 minutes and 26 seconds to just enjoy and then like come up with a plan after that. Sometimes most people write bands off before they ever even listen to them. Fucking so goddamn heavy at the end of that. What the fuck? I should have built like this little, I built this like little office space, this new spot in the office. So like I have this whole office, but like this is the only part of the room I use. So that's stupid because I should have pushed it out so I could, was not expecting to get so heavy right there. I don't know if I've heard that track before, but that self-care green hair line really like feels very familiar. So either I've heard that or he's used something along those lines before. So sick. What does he say right in the beginning? I'm either your black hole or your entire constellation. So I feel like there's a couple ways to look at the song. One, he could be speaking from the standpoint of being a band and like, whether you're playing or you're dying, I'm part of the conversation. Like whether you're just trying to have a good time, have fun, like, yeah, this is for you. And also like, if you're really just having to deal with your emotions, I'm also for you. It could also be very well, from a relationship standpoint, I guess, because you could just, imagine like, yeah, when you're having like a great time, everything's fine. Like I'm here, but then like at the same time, every time you're like angry or you're like upset with the world, like I'm also here. Like I end up being kind of both of these. And the only time that you're ever willing to like allow me into your life is whenever I'm no longer feeling anything. And that could just be from you just completely burning me out or our relationship, whatever. But that breakdown at the end, so fucking like alien oriented. Oh, all right. Violet. I do know this track. I like this track.
But it freaks me out. So I just say, well, I'm not a stalker. But I watch you when you're walking. You call all kinds of people on me. But I put down on the carpet. You say, well, I know you're in there. And the way you tease is unfair. And this ain't misery. But I break your knees to keep you here with me. But I break your knees to keep you here with me.
Honestly, if you guys remember me doing the reaction to this, I love this song so much. And one of the reasons is the songwriting aspect of it. I love that I'd break your knees to keep you here with me. You got this person that is just like fucking full on stalker, can't not be around you, watching, listening, everything that you do. And they love you so much. They are obsessed with you so much that they'd be willing to put you in a wheelchair. They'd be willing to like remove your ability to ever get away from them just so they can be near you and with you. but it's written in like such a fun way. So it's like, it's dark as fuck, but like you don't like take the time to only focus on that because like you just want to dance while also enjoying.
But I watch you when you're walking. You call all kinds of people who aren't me. Words, but don't you worry, 'cause I heard.
I love that. You, like when you lead me back to your place, you do it without words, aka I'm following you, you don't even know, but I, in my head, truly believe that you're inviting me to be near your apartment. That's fucked up.
Needs to keep you here with me. Break your knees to keep you here with me.
Also, I realize that sometimes, maybe not everybody, like when he says, this ain't misery, but I'd break your knees to keep you here with me. There's like a really famous novel from Stephen King. I'm not going to spoil it, but let's just say, yeah, definitely still to this day, my favorite Waterparks song I've ever heard. I feel like when I first listened to this, I listened to this track so many times after that. And I remember trying to show my wife this band recently because I want to go see them when they come here on tour with Mayday Parade. And of course I had to show her this song because, well, it's fucking amazing. Oh my God. Okay. Snow Globe. Hey, those 90s R&B vibes, right?
Nothing more, my heart is shut from you. My heart is shut from you.
So I think it's really important to point out like a track like this, right? Because, you know, we've seen so much happening throughout this track list when it comes to the musical approach that this band takes, the different styles they like to use. But also like the vocal approaches of Austin. And what it really shows is like, he's got so much versatility in what he can make. I personally love what Waterparks does because there's just no box. You're not putting them in any sort of boundary. And it's not even from just a track to track basis, but within a track, they manage to switch things up so much that like at the end of a song, you have trouble defining that genre.
People miss the old you. They hate everything that they all change you into.
Oh, fuck yes.
So good morning, can you fix me? My tiny little world is in your hands. So shake it like a snow globe, fuck my plans. 'Cause all I hear is
I love that. My tiny little world is in your hands. Shake it like a snow globe, fuck my plans. Like, basically, like my whole existence is just so small. Like, I'm so small. And I just like, it's like when people say like, you've got me in the palm of your hands. This is such a great way of kind of like expressing that. Like, listen, I'm in the palm of your hands. Like, it doesn't matter what I believe or what I want to do or how I feel. I need you to just rock my world in a way that like, even if it just causes the chaos. Snow globes can cause beautiful chaos, right? Which is essentially this fucking album. It causes this beautiful chaos. So like, let me be a part of that. Again, it comes back to the songwriting where it's like Austin, I assume Austin writes the lyrics, maybe the whole band does, but like the way that they can take, you know, these forms, add these metaphors, and then also like match the musical style with those things. I think that's the kind of shit that stands out to me in such a big way with a band like this.
7 p.m. let us sink in.
Hey!
The back of the deep end. Now it's 3 a.m. Everybody is home alone. Shake me up and watch me. I'm a so you hate everything that they all change you into.
God damn, I love the use of fucking auto-tune right there. So it actually sounds to me, because right around the beginning, he says, I've been dead since 2016. And like what this, as I was kind of listening to the lyrics as they went on, it kind of sounds to me like Austin was talking about sort of like that hometown love, like that relationship that you have that like you fall in love with. Maybe it's your first love or just somebody that was like so close, you saw all the time, and then you went on and, you know, you're touring and you're doing all this stuff, and kind of like even though home's always with you, it kind of like fades into the back. And it almost kind of sounds like, and I'm just, riffing because of Snow Globe, but it almost kind of sounds like, you go home for the holidays, you're home around your family, and you start to have those moments where you're able to spend time with that person that you love again. And like you said, like you were my first love and all these things. So it's kind of like, look, this is where I'm at right now in this moment. And like, I've always been in love with you. I've always had these very strong feelings for you, and everything, again, I'm in the palm of your hand so much. Like literally you could do anything right now. You could shake it up and I would just like leave this band, leave everything to be able to be here with you because I love you so much. And that's like such a powerful like thing. But at the same time, I also love the fact that thank you for that kind of writing style. Cause like, even if it doesn't mean that, that's exactly the story that I fucking heard. And I think that's so sick. Okay. The next track is Just Kidding. Fuck.
And I feel like everybody hates me, making plans on another planet daily. Lately, I wish I was dead sometimes. I'm just kidding.
I wish I was dead sometimes. And then going through the, so I don't have to check my phone. I don't have to see how many people hate me. All these like racing thoughts that go through a lot of our heads all the time. Yeah, you think about, it's very sad. And because he even did this little laugh. He says, just kidding. Ha ha. Like he really feels that way. And I think that people sometimes forget that, like, while some people can deal with living in the spotlight good, some people have trouble trying to navigate that. It kind of goes back to low key as hell, right? And I feel like that can be a very difficult struggle. And while it'd be easy to just like turn your phone off and go away, the reality is like, it's not what everybody wants to do. So even though he's joking about it, it's like, damn, bro, why the giggle? Now I know you're sad.
I wish I was dead sometime so I wouldn't have to check my phone. I wish I was dead sometime so I could spend a day alone.
I feel weird vibing to this, but like everybody's definitely thought of this before.
I wish I was dead sometimes. I'm just kidding, just joking. It's fine. Not far away. Yeah.
So, that's a really fucking sad song, even though it's a vibe. So thank you, Waterparks, for doing that. Look, the reality is like, if you deal with mental health, I do, so I feel comfortable talking about this. If you deal with mental health, you deal with those struggles, you deal with that sadness. Yeah, basic tasks can be really difficult, but also think about the tasks that like our generations are now like what are part of our culture, like checking our phones. We know what everybody thinks of us all the time. And like, the reality is like, while that can be right in your face and show you, kind of like what Austin's pointing at here is like, it's not even just seeing what people think about you, but like those thoughts that race in your head of what you presume people are thinking about you, or that you always feel like you have to be entertaining people, or, like he talks about like, I really like your apartment, like your hair, you smell like berries, but that's all I can tell you because the rest of it's going to make you sad. Like, the reality is like life can be so fucking hard. And like, yes, sometimes you think about the lines in this track, because if you've ever felt this way, you've said this shit where you're like, I wish I was dead. I'm just kidding. Haha. Like, there's so much truth to that joke sometimes. And even though I don't want you to die, I don't want anyone to feel that way, I know that a lot of people do. And I kind of feel like in this track, it almost like is a way to kind of like air your shit out, right? It gives you a chance to like come face to face with that feeling that you have, because you hear him do like the sarcastic giggle, like, I'm just joking. Haha. Like, we've been there. And like, that can be super fucking sad, right? Because you should tell people how you feel. You shouldn't have to mask these things. And I think that's kind of what we're getting here. Cause he says like, I buried my feelings down so low. Well, like one of the first things I ever learned in therapy is like, if you feel shitty, if you feel depressed, if you feel sad, if you feel anxious, say it. Like, don't hide it. Don't try to mask it. Don't try to pretend like, you have to save face for people around you, because if you don't verbalize it and you don't vocalize it, you're allowing it to go deeper. And the problem is at some point, you become overflowing with that pain that you feel, and it's really fucking sad, right? So like, say how you feel. And like in this song, you know, it's a bop. It's a fun bop. We're having a great time. We're bobbing our heads. We're dancing. But the reality is it's fucking sad. And Austin, I love you. I hope that, you know, it doesn't matter what I say, but I do hope that you know, got help, or that you no longer feel that way. Having said that, I appreciate that you wrote a song from a perspective that so many people fucking live through. God damn it. Okay, Secret Life of Me.
Cause Sunday, wishing for a someday I could run away like
Oh my God.
Never think I need a life or maybe 9. Cause I'm feeling like I'm running out of time. Yeah, Sunday, maybe on a Sunday I can sit and sunbathe. I can run away like that. Never think I need a life or maybe 9. Cause I'm feeling like I'm running out of time.
You know, when people like love to spend time talking shit about vocal enhancement or vocal effects and like auto-tune and stuff, this is the kind of music that I love that they embody it and utilize it in such cool ways, because at the end of the day, what it does is it makes the vocals another piece of the instrumentation. It doesn't just have to be like, you know, big singers trying to like make one note sound better. I personally love the idea of utilizing these moments to like have Austin's vocal become an instrument, especially in like a moment like this. Again, with that like techno beat, it just fits properly.
All my time, building my whole life where I feel alright. Cause I never wanna leave the secret life of me, the secret life of me. Sunday, wishing for a Sunday I can run away like that. Never think I need a life or maybe 9.
Oh, I feel like it's so 80s right now. Yes.
I feel like I'm running out of time. Real life never feels like it's mine, so I'll dissociate until I'm fine.
I feel like I'm running out of time. Real life feels like it's never mine, so I'll disassociate until it's time. My God. I'm going to make sure that I got those lyrics right, so I'm going to listen to that part again. But also, like, I know, like, how many of y'all can relate to that? Fuck.
And Sunday, Sunday, looking like a Sunday. Wishing for a Sunday, I can run away like that. Never think I need a life or maybe 9. Cause I'm feeling like I'm running out of time. Yeah, Sunday, maybe on a Sunday I can sit and sunbathe. I can run away.
So I love this song because you've got Austin essentially just like coming up with a way to escape whatever this life is that he's living. Like he says, like, this life doesn't feel like it's mine. So I feel like I'm running out of time. So disassociating, being able to sit on a Sunday while sunbathing, living this fantasy within his head of this like life that he would rather be living, or him being able to imagine that the life that is surrounded by him is this. And I think that like, I think a lot of people end up doing this, you know, it's kind of like that form of daydreaming where like, you know, I haven't been in school in a long time, but I imagine some of you are in school, right? And you know, you sit there sometimes and I have ADHD, so like it might be different, but I would sit there and, you know, the first like 2 minutes you're like in, and then they like say something that's like, whatever. And like your mind goes off on a tangent. And before you know it, you're like dreaming so big in this whole life that is not there. And then it's just like the bell rings and you're like, oh shit. Wow. We are not with my twin and we both have matching sunglasses. Like that did not just happen. I love the fact that it's like the secret life of me. Like, yeah, you see me on this outside, but like I'm living this whole different world in my head. Maybe it's not a good thing. It's possible that it's not, but for Austin, you know, that's an escape for him to be able to like exist in the world that he doesn't feel is actually his anyways. Okay, American Graffiti.
I live a normal day because it feels so far away. You want some blame, I'll take it down.
Oh,
Yeah, you've been singing all about me.
like these are those moments whenever, despite all the things I've said about Austin's vocals and just how many ranges he has, this is the moment where like, even if he only did this sound for the rest of his life, I would still love this band because this is definitely my favorite of his. It's just like that pop punk life being breathed brothin into this instrumental right here. It's so sick. I have therapy on Wednesdays, but I haven't been in months, so there's an x-ray of us in my brain. Fuck. God, that riff is so good. Oh my God. Dude, I'm like so into the instrumentation from this band. Like, hands down, some of this fucking, like, some of the songwriting from an instrument perspective is so fucking strong. Like, the riff in this is incredible. And like, what I love is that when you have a riff that is like super repetitive, it really helps that that repetitive riff is fucking dope. And it's like they knew that. They're like, all right, you know what? If we're gonna go all in on playing this for like the last 2 minutes of this track, let's fucking make it so memorable. And like, it's simple, but it's so fucking good. And again, a lot of it pairs so well with Austin's vocals. I think that's why I love this band so much, is it's like you get those moments. Of course, I will say in the verses, this actually really reminded me of like early 2000s alt rock. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say like emo, but like, you know, Blink-182 kind of went through a phase where they got like a little bit more serious, and like, you know, they had like the self-titled album came out and there were a couple songs that kind of had that more like alt rock sound to them while still keeping some of the pop punk. And I think that this track had a lot of that in the verses as well. Okay, I love this song that we're about to listen to. You'd Be Paranoid Too, if everyone you knew was out to get you.
People treat me like I'm an asshole, but I don't text when I drive them.
That's so accurate. You guys, people treat me like an asshole, but I don't text when I drive though. You know what? If you're gonna call someone some shit, you better own your own shit. So I love this for a lot of reasons. And, you know, any of you guys out there that are in bands, or you're on, you know, maybe you're like in entertainment somehow, maybe you're a YouTuber. Okay. I love the thought of this song because the content is so relevant. You know, over the last, I would say like since COVID happened and then like everything kind of started opening back up, that's like when my channel had like the most growth. So like, it was really interesting to start going back in public and people like know who you are sometimes. And what Austin is saying in this is like, you're almost like walking around kind of like unsure if even the most simple things that you're doing are going to be like upsetting to people. Now, like, I would also urge you to like live your life and be yourself regardless of what that self is, unless you're just a huge asshole, in which case, you know, maybe stay home. But like, there's this thing where like, even though you may not be doing something wrong, someone may feel like you did something wrong. Like, he even makes a comment and he's like, he tries to be better, but he still uses straws. Like, I don't know what of these things are going to get me in trouble on the internet. And a lot of that even goes back to Just Kidding. Like, I kind of felt like he was touching on that a little bit there as well, where he's like, you just like don't know what's going to happen. So he's like, oh, I just, you know, got into my hotel, light a couple candles, find out that I'm canceled. It's just a harsh reality. But like, also like, you know, I feel like if you're being yourself and like living your most authentic life, I imagine that like, hopefully people aren't actually assholes. Like, I never know when people are going to like see me wherever I'm at. But typically if you see me, I'm super fucking quiet unless you come say something to me. Cause, yeah, you know, I got a little bit of introvert energy. So
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a little bitch, so I might turn around and say some stupid shit. No,
uh-oh. So sick. Oh. Yeah, like I said in that little rant in that song, I feel like, you know, if you are, it's just like, I feel like there's a lot of eyes on you all the time. I don't ever worry about those things like in a real sense, because like I'd like to think that I try to do the right thing even when nobody's looking. But also like I feel I'm very fortunate that just like who I am and the things I believe in, I live very congruently with those things. But having said that, like, yeah, you know what? I'm not opposed to like fighting somebody. And like, I feel that that would probably like be seen in a really negative way. But like, also I saw a guy like, you know, being a huge dick to his dog. And like, I threatened to kill him like in Miami on the street, middle of the day. Like imagine there's, you know, people probably would have been fine with that. Cause if you don't like dogs and you think that dogs should be beat up or choked by, you know, creepy dudes, then like, okay, I don't know why you're watching this, but I like lost it. And like, I think to myself, like, yeah, you know what? Somebody might see that and totally like get the wrong idea about who I am. But like at the same time, if I'm living congruently within my beliefs, yeah, I'm gonna beat the shit out of him, or at least try, even if he's gonna, you know, destroy me. Like I'm still gonna do that, because like to not say something, to not kind of like, you know, approach this person would be me not living my true self. And I say that because like, yeah, like I see what Austin's saying here. Like, yeah, you know, I might turn around and say something stupid. I might make a bad joke. I might do all these things. And like prior to me being like in the public spotlight, that wouldn't really have mattered. But now that I am who I am and my band is where they are, you kind of just get nervous that like not only strangers, but like even just like people around you, people that are in various circles that you also like hang out in, those people could also be just like waiting for you to fuck something up. Like it's hard because I don't sympathize with people who do some really dumb shit. Like, yeah, I get it. Like you know, you're going to get your Cummins. People are going to fucking talk to you, right? And they're going to post it on the internet and they're going to make sure that people know, because I think, yeah, being aware that's right. Like that's what we should do, and make people aware of this really fucked up shit. However, like sometimes I do see people on the internet maybe they just get really bored and they will spend some time just trying to brew some shit up over like Austin said, like, I don't even know if just the fact that I'm using a straw is going to get me in trouble. But like, there are definitely pages I see this kind of stuff where it could be something small like that. I think the biggest thing is all about living congruent within yourself. The person that I reflect on the internet, the things that I say, the opinions that I have those same opinions if you see me in person. The only difference is, again, I am very quiet when I'm in public. I don't like if I like walk into a store and like someone says hi to me, I like just like, hey, welcome in. I start sweating because social situations can be difficult for me. However, when someone who knows who I am comes up and they say hi to me and they like want to meet me, it's like the most like uplifting feeling. So I definitely feel like I understand where Austin's coming from, but also, and he definitely does this. Like, just live your life. You know what I mean? Live your life, because the internet's going to cancel you. But then like 5 days later, they're going to be back on your junk. Also, you know, they would never say those things to your face, which is, I guess that's the benefit. Although the internet's more scary than people in real life. Okay. The next song is called Fruit Roll-Ups. I love the romance surrounding a fruit roll-up.
It's like that shit was written in gel pen. I love this. If you wanna see me acting so desperately, you know. I don't wanna say it way too loud, but I'm a little bitch for you now.
I'm a little bitch for you now. I don't want to say it too loud, but I'm a little bitch for you now. This is like, it's fucking adorable. Well, one, just the idea of this, you know, fruit roll up moment. Again, you can bring people together with a fruit roll up, but also like him just like spilling out how much he loves this person. Like, oh, I love that thing you wrote. It was in gel pen. I fucking love that. Like, he's just like melting for this person. And I love that he's just like, I'm just a little bitch for you.
It's true. I'm a little bitch for you now.
It's so romantic though. I love how many like synthesizer effects are in this album. This is my kind of love song right here. I know you can't see under the table, but I'm got them hips going. Yes, got them hips going for Austin. I love this. I'm a little bitch for you now. I just love that he's kind of like spilling his heart out, but in a way that, as he calls it, is like him just having full on desperation. You know what? Like, I'm all about like, sure, stand your ground, you know, be you, be strong, be independent, but also like get you somebody that makes you feel this way. Like if you don't feel the way that Austin feels about this person, then maybe that's not the relationship for you, because, you know, ideally the other person feels the same way, and I'm lucky to have that. But yes, I'm a little bitch for my relationship, and I don't care. Like, I'll fucking, like, you want somebody that, even though you're strong and independent and you know you can take care of yourself, you also want to like break down any barriers that you have in your life to be so real with that person. So like, yeah, I want you guys to fucking feel that way. Doesn't mean like give up everything in your life, but like, you know, have somebody who reciprocates that same energy. Okay, like it.
I don't tell you how to wake up and be a dumb bitch every day. So how about you stay out of my lane on my whole freeway?
Hey!
Instead of trying to explain how I should do my job and speak my truth, I wanna win the Grammy in a suit, but instead I'm in a straight jacket in my room. How the hell did I end up in now right next to you?
Okay, I love this. He's just like, it's a call out on like people who either make their opinions about their music, critics, you name it. Like, it's true. We really do straitjacket artists, especially what I've seen recently, and I do my best to speak out on it when I see it, but people who you fall in love with a band because of one sound, and then every time they release an album that's not that sound, you like crucify that band. But it's like, if you really love a band, don't you want to see them experiment with things, even if you don't like it? For example, I love AFI. I don't love the last 6 albums that they did, but like, I don't think they should change. They do an amazing job with it, and I end up listening to them anyways. So maybe they do know what they're doing, but like, it's okay to like, you know, not have to just fucking embellish your opinion all the time because an artist changed a style that you like. Like, shut the fuck up.
If you call me, 'cause I like it. 'Cause I like it. 'Cause I like it. Being creative, I'm making business decisions like me. Stop and walk the curve and fucking us over.
I love that. Instead of being creative, I'm making business decisions.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. 'Cause I like it. 'Cause I like it.
What the fuck? Like, okay. So I love this because all the things that Austin sings about, all these things that this band sings about, that they try to represent, they try to talk about, like you said, like, you know, I tweet that I want to like hurt myself, and like that's this big deal, but like I put it in a song and everybody loves it. Like, I just want to be who I am and sing about what I want to sing about, but people are so busy trying to tell me what to do or how to live my life, or, you know, rather than just being an artist and having a great time, this becomes a career. Now it's all business, you know, all this stuff. And then at the end, that interviewer, I just spit, gross. That interviewer was like, so all those things, you're blah, 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 what color are you going to do your hair? And it's like, why the fuck? Like, I feel like in a way, maybe I guess that his hair could be a topic of conversation, but also like, if we're sitting down to talk about music, let's talk about music, because I do feel like a lot of bands, I'm pretty sure this was all just, I don't think that was actually a thing, unless maybe it was, but I feel like a lot of bands, they sit down with these interviewers and they have this moment to like, you know, talk about their music or talk about their next album. And people want to talk about stuff that either they don't fucking know the band at all, so they just make shit up, or they talk about stuff that is just like not even interesting and is almost like demeaning. I've always wanted to like interview artists, but like let it be a conversation where like we talk about the music, of course, but like the focus being more on like personal life and things that that happen that sort of like influence what you end up doing in music. And just like, I don't know, like to me personally, I love to hear about the music, but like only to an extent, because at some point it's like you've already said enough. I want to know more about you. And I feel like that's where a lot of interviewers lose it, because they have no fucking idea who they're talking to most of the time. That was a tangent that was unnecessary, but that last part made me think about that. Okay, this is an interlude. It's called Gladiator. Let's go. I feel like hanging out with this band would be so fun and so interesting because they are so random.
Human soul.
Yes. So what I kind of noticed in the lyrics there while I was having a great old time is that they were just talking about how the media basically puts people against each other all the time. And the only way that you can like escape that in Austin's way is to leave your human soul. But also like you have to be able to just like have fun with it, because it's true. Like TMZ is not talking about your new single, but man, if your new single, you're calling out some other person in the media, yeah, you better fucking believe you're getting that promo. And it really sucks that you have to quote unquote be this gladiator in order to be able to like exist. Like it just sucks that in a public space, that's all people want. All right, this is Magnetic.
Audience, that's my arrogance. The world revolves around me. Sleeping soundly, I got whole last night on a rack. Feelings in the light go back, 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 back. Highlights in my eyes go black, 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 black. Yeah, you said it, I'm magnetic to the things I hate the most. But it's bad, 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 bad. Teasing on myself like nat, 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 nat. Driving so.
Oh my God. Okay, first off, you say that I'm magnetic to the things that I hate or the things that I can't stand. I think that's what the lyric was. I'll hear it again. I love that because it's like, it's kind of interesting how that can happen sometimes. People, you know, if you have this mentality where maybe you vocalize the things that you don't like a lot, if you focus on them too much, it seems to happen to you over and over again. And it kind of seems like that's what's happening here. Can I please, I want to take it back just so that we can listen to the chorus in this again. Holy fuck. This is like one of my favorite chorus is that I've heard so far on this album. Oh my God. Oh. Oh. Wait, I just have to say, yeah, this is the best chorus on the album. Doesn't matter what songs I liked previous, this is fucking incredible. Also, what he said there, again, takes me back to, like it, takes me back to Just Kidding, which is that, you know, he says like, I'm sitting here and I'm basically like scrolling on my phone, and I just become like drawn to all this negative shit about me, all these things that I hate the most. I can't stop giving all of my attention to. And we're also guilty of that because the brain is just so good at making us want more and more of that dopamine hit when we check our phones. But in Austin's case, like that's super like not great for him, yet he can't stop doing it. And like being consumed by that hate is super like toxic for the rest of your existence. Let's listen to this chorus again. Let's go! Yeah, that's my favorite track on this album now. I'm going to listen to it a million more times. I'm going to know all the fucking meanings behind it, you name it, because that chord progression in that chorus is just like, you ever find something that you're so like drawn to? That's it for me. That chord progression. Oh my God. Woo, boys, y'all done it now. Oh my God. But I also love, at least what I understand from the lyrics so far, which is just this idea that like we spend all this time, you know, he could, like he said, like, you know, I left that last song like on a good note, essentially, like leaving it positively. But then, you know, I catch the red eye home and I'm already like kind of diving into the negative things that I don't like or that I was already thinking about. And now I'm on my phone doing the same thing and I'm drawn to all this. And it's kind of sad but true how we all do that. We all sort of fall into this way of like when people are talking, like you don't want people to talk bad about you, but then when they do, you can't help but go back and check over and over. And it's just like, he's obviously struggling with that. I will say that, like, you know, we're almost done with the album, but like, I'm really impressed with the songwriting here, because not that I expected to not be. I know that their songwriting and their lyrics is, I know that they're a strong point for them, but it's just super cool to listen to like a full album, because track after track, you're getting essentially Austin just like putting his heart out there, talking about a lot of various things that he's going through in life. And that to me is like super fucking interesting, because I think that a lot of people, if they don't give this band a chance, they're never going to get a chance to hear just how personable the songwriting is. Okay, crying over it all.
And I'm crying over it all, yeah. And all I think about is where you might be. And when I'm swallowed down, I'd say it's for you, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd say it's for you, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's done, I'm crying over it all, yeah. And all I think about is where you might be. When I'm swallowed down, I'd say it's for you, yeah, yeah, yeah. Really all I think about is where you might be. And when I'm swallowed down, I'd say it's for you, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd say it's for you, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I love that, because it's almost like, look, I'm writing all these songs from all of these perspectives of, you know, maybe our relationship, or, you know, maybe these things that have transpired. It doesn't matter. The point is, I hope you remember that my album is on, and every time the song slows down, that's for you. Like, I wrote that song for you. But I hope that when you get to the end of this, you're crying over it all, because you're hearing all of the things that I've sort of like put out there into the world, the feelings that I was feeling, how I felt about you, how I felt about this relationship, bringing kind of everything together in this very emotional way. But like, also like, you know, I hope that you stuck around and you just know that those slow jams were for you, and I'm just spilling my heart out there, and I hope that you're crying about it. And I just want to say that this is just another example of Austin's vocal talent that, you know, maybe goes unnoticed sometimes. It also makes me very stoked that they do the type of music that they do, because you have a vocalist in this group that has no goddamn boundaries. And like, it's so cool to see that experimentation continue to flourish. Okay, this is Ice Bath. All right, doing a little callback to the intro. What? Let's go into See You in the Future. I feel like it's supposed to go together.
From at least one direction. I don't even care, the broken escalator still says so. I go towards the pressure. Maybe if I look real close, I'll see you in a. If you could see the things that I see when I sleep, then you'd be paranoid like me.
Okay, so maybe I'm totally wrong about this, but greatest hits, obviously, we got the intro. He wakes up from the strangest dream. I can't tell if like part of the theme of this, not that all of this, because there is a lot of like real emotion in this, you can tell, but like, I'm wondering if the whole point of this is like, he had this dream where they were this like mega successful band, and this is all the stuff that was kind of going on. And then obviously, like, you know, they put a greatest hits album out. It's not actually greatest hits, even though I was fooled however long ago when I first like saw this album. I thought it was their greatest hits, and then you learn that it's not, but you kind of like understand that all of this is sort of that secret life of me that Austin is talking about, where he's living within this. And now See You in the Future, he's kind of addressing that some of those things were happening. Elon Musk, where the fuck is my flying truck, bitch? I put down $100. Those fucking drums. Fuck. Let's go. It's over? You just have a 10-second fade out? Oh my God. Okay, so this album is fucking dope. This is one of those albums that I kind of put off for a long time, and I truly realized that I was missing out in such a big way. It's hard because, like, when I was checking out a lot of the single tracks, I felt like it was very easy to be attached to this band. And like, one of the things that are both a blessing and a curse of what I do for a living is that I'm thankful every day that, like, this is what I get to do. But as a music fan who sometimes struggles with mental health and therefore can't always press record on the camera, the amount of albums that I have to just like not listen to in my personal time, and then that becomes like, there was another album that came out, and then before you know it, you're so far behind, but you still can't listen to it because you know you're going to do an album. I'm sure there's a lot of people that probably do still listen to it and then do one, but why would the fuck would you do that? Like, this is the coolest thing in the world. Like, why would I do that? I'm so glad I listened to this because I got a lot out of it when it comes to more about this band as a whole. One, I'm going to stay very true to the original of my saying, which is you cannot put this band in any sort of a box. You can't even try. There's so many styles that came out of this album on a track by track basis. And one thing that's really interesting to me is that when I look at the song or the track list structure and sort of the intro into Ice Bath and to See You in the Future, I actually do feel, I could be totally wrong, but it almost feels like this is Austin seeing their greatest hits, seeing them in the future, seeing them with all of that success. And so with that, these are kind of like all the thoughts that kind of go with that, and it kind of like trickles down. But at the same time, I also see it as a way to have that same storyline, but also, you know, if we're in Austin's head at this time when it comes to these dreams that he's having, we're getting a chance to like just hear all of the things that go on in his head, not just career oriented, but, you know, love and several other moments that happen here, including him obviously addressing in track 8, The Secret Life of Me, that he's just disassociating. Like, there's a lot here. And I feel like just on a writing basis, I think that's really fucking awesome. I think that, you know, to call it greatest hits, that's already a thing. That's a flex right there. But to call it greatest hits and also be able to do what they've done with this track list, I think is really fucking sick. Now, number 2, Austin Knight is that bitch. And I mean that. He's got just these great fucking vocals. Versatility is there. It's so on point. It's so real. And I feel like I'm very appreciative that he does this style because the dude could do pretty much whatever he wanted. I love the fact that he can bring pop punk nostalgia to life with that high range that he sings in. And there were moments like in American Graffiti where it was just so apparent where his talent level was at. And I do hope to see him like continue to get that love. I'm stoked to see this band live, mostly because the personality of the band, I think, outshines everything. And that's actually a really cool thing. So like, from the first time I listened to them, I could tell right away that they were just relatable people. Like, they sing about the shit that maybe people are thinking about, but don't actually want to talk about sometimes. I really like tracks like Low Key as Hell. I really like You'd Be Paranoid too, because those seem so realistic. Like Austin talking about the reality, well, you know, whether we're in his dream or not, the lyricism is that reality of like making it to the top, making it to success. And like, you still have, like, it doesn't matter how much money you have, how much gold you have, how much whatever, you're still you when you get there. You're just you with more shit all around you. So like, there are so many things that have to be addressed there, but like, you're also wondering at that same time, like, what are people going to think of me if I buy this, or if I do this, or if I, that it's just a really fucking hard balance. I've experienced it even in, my area. So like, I can't imagine to be, as successful as Austin and what that would feel like. But I imagine it's similar, because at the end of the day, it's not about the money, the fame, or any of those things. If you have those feelings now, when you get all of that stuff, you're going to feel the same, if not worse, because you have ways to enhance it. And that's not good. But then I think about you'd be paranoid too, which is like that reality of like getting that little touch of fame, that touch of significance. People know who you are. And now you always kind of have to be on the defense, because you don't know who's just trying to like invade your success, right? Because like, people tend to, get a little bit upset when they find out that people are more successful than them, or if they just don't like you because, Austin, I don't know why you wouldn't like him, but if you don't like him, like, yeah, like what if he does something? What if he says something? What if he's in public and someone says something and he responds? Like, you got to be, kind of like, gotta be real with yourself about those things. Like, that can very much happen, but you're also like, a fucking, be who you are, do you live your life. But it is very true. I love tracks like Magnetic, for example, which is my favorite song on this album. It's actually my favorite Waterparks song as of this moment. And I don't even fully understand the whole song, so I'm going to listen to it more and more. But I feel like the chord progression in that chorus is something that is just incredible on so many levels. I feel like it left me wanting to hear the song again and again. Yeah, I want to do that. I also want to say that I love the track Fruit Roll Up. I feel like Fruit Roll Ups, to me, is like one of the best romance love tracks that I've ever heard, because it's one of the most realistically written one, because, people can act all tough and get all romantic and in their feels and all these things in the lyrics. But like, the reality is like, I'm such a little bitch for you. And like, come on, like, I need that. But overall, that is like a very quick summary of why I love this so much. I just feel like they're one of those bands that I can't think of another band that's doing it like they are. Like, the idea of experimenting with music, that's, something that's becoming even more and more popular. But like, there are bands out there that do it, and every band has managed to do something a little bit different with their version of that. I think the Waterparks flavor is something that we are not hearing anywhere else. And to me, it just shows that as long as Austin is just kidding about wanting to die, I'd love for you to still be here, because I would love to continue hearing what you're going to do with your creativity, with your artistic expression. I don't care what color your hair is going to be. However, self-care, green hair, you look cute today. I'm fucking down with that. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Again, this was like a really great way to dive into Waterparks, and no pun intended, by the way, by that. Wow. I'm glad that we finally got a chance to do like a whole collection. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section what your 3 favorite tracks are on this. There's 17, so it's kind of hard to pick. Also, make sure that, tell me what you're excited about from the camp of Waterparks. Is there another album you guys think that I should check out that you think I would like? Let me know. I would also like to say that if you want to support the channel, because everything I do is sponsorship and advertisement free, I'm supported by my patrons. So this entire, it looks like it's going to be like an hour and 30-minute video, is going to be on Patreon. So if you guys go to Patreon and you subscribe and you hang out, you can also watch the full uncut album listening party. This YouTube version is obviously a lot shorter. I just want to say thank you so much for hanging out and stopping by. I feel like music fans are fucking incredible. And the fact that like I get to talk about music and nerd out about music for an hour and a half with you guys is so fucking dope. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's amazing to me, and I'm very thankful for it. I'm also like so stoked that there are people out there that just love to nerd out about music as well. What a great band to nerd out about with, by the way. But okay, I love you guys. I will see you in the next one. Peace.